Okay, we are starting from the top of Vav Amud Beis. Here we go, baby. Okay, I just wanted a note from yesterday when it was referring to what's written on the tefillin. It said on the bottom of Vav Amud Aleph. It was referring to what's written on Hashem's tefillin, right? We said yesterday that Hashem wears tefillin. So the question was directed toward Hashem's tefillin specifically. What was written on his tefillin, not what was written on our tefillin. That would obviously be different. So sorry for not specifying that yesterday. Let's go. We're on the top line of Vav Amud Beis. Amar Ravin Barav Ad. We got a great Amud coming up. Amar Rav Yitzchak. Kol haragil lavai lebeis hakneses. Anyone who goes to shul, who is accustomed to going to shul, goes to shul every day. And one day, guess what? He doesn't come. HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashal bai. Hashem inquires about him. Hashem says, where is it? Is it so and so? Shneimar kibechem yarei Hashem shoymeya bekol avdai asher halach hashchem ve'einu nageh bai. If he didn't go to shul because he needed to do a mitzvah, then the light is still there. The light that one shines when they go to shul is still there. If it's for a davar rishus, something that he chose to do, then the light is not there. Yiftach b'shem Hashem. Believe in the name of Hashem. My time Hashem because he had to believe in Hashem and he didn't, because he didn't go to shul for a davar rishus. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Okay. Interesting point. That in the Beis HaMikdash, what happened? We went to Hashem, right? But in a shul, he comes to us. He comes to us. He's waiting for us. You see that, right? He's waiting for us in the shul. The time that Hashem comes to a shul, as I mentioned, he comes to a shul, and he doesn't find 10 people. He gets angry. Why do I come? And nobody's answering me. There's no man here. Ish is referring to the 10th man. The 10th man is not present. So I just came here, and there's no one here. There's no 10 men at least. Anyone who is kavei makom l'tefillah, he goes to the same place. What this really means doesn't mean that he has a place in his house where he davens, a set place in his house, or doesn't mean a set place in shul. Either way, he's a set place where he davens. Elokei Avraham ba'azrei, the God of Avraham will help him, meaning Hashem will help him. Ukashemesim, when this person passes, they'll say to him, I'anav ichasid, wow, what a humble person, what a pious person. Why? Because mitalmidim shel Avraham Avinu, he is one of the talmidim of Avraham Avinu. V'Amar Avinu himself, menalei dekavah makam. Avraham Avinu himself, where do we know that he was kaiveya makam, that he established a place for him when he davened? Techsiv vayashkem Avraham baboker el hamakom, to that place. El hamakam asher amat sham. So we see that Avraham went to a makam, to a specific place to daven, so he had a makam kavua. What is humility? Right? We said that one who has a makam kavua to daven, they'll call him an anav. They'll call him a humble person. Well, what does humility have to do with being kaveh makam? So he's showing that, listen, I'm not perfect. I need all the help I can get. If it'll help to have a makam kavua, to have a set place to daven, I'll take that help because I need all I can get. That's a very humble thing that someone's expressing when they want a makam kavua. Okay. Amar Rab Chalba Amar Huna Hayotz mi Beis HaKnesses al yafsia psia gasa. One who leaves a shul should not run away from shul. We're only talking about leaving shul. But if one is going to shul, avada, you can run. It's a mitzvah to run. Shenemar nardafa ladas es Hashem. Amar B'zeira meireshki hava chazinu l'Rabbanan dekarahati l'parka b'Shabsa. Right. So Reb Zera saw that the Rabbanan were running to shul for a shir on Shabbos. So Amina kama chali and Rabbanan Shabbasa. Right. What are these Rabbanan doing? They're running on Shabbos. Not allowed to run on Shabbos. So Kivin de Shamana Lahad, the Rabbi Tanchum, Amar B'Shu ben Levi, once he heard this statement of Rabbi Tanchum, Amar B'Shu ben Levi, that La'olam Yaretz Adam L'Davar Halacha V'Afilu B'Shabbos, then he knew it was the right thing, right? That once he heard the statement that a person should always run to hear Torah, even on Shabbos, then he knew it was right. Shnemar Chevei Hashem Yelchu Ka'ari Yishag Ananami Rehita. So then at that point, I also ran, because I knew this was the right thing to do. By the way, this pasuk says Ka'ari Yishag. We already mentioned the line a few times. It seems to be a recurring theme in this Masechta, mentioning lions. Okay. Amar Reb Zera, Agra de Parka Rahata. One who runs to a shir, he gets reward for just running there. Beautiful, beautiful. And we see here that if a person, Rashi says that the schar for learning a shir, even if a person can't say over the shir, he still gets schar for running to the shir. Right? That in itself is a different schar. There's two things. There's understanding the shir and there's running to the shir. So he still gets schar halicha. He still gets schar for going to the shir. Rashi, if we see from Rashi an interesting thing, that really understanding your learning is being able to say it over. which is means you really have to understand it. But anyway, right? If you go to a Rebbe's shir, it's a very complicated back and forth shir. It's not like learning Gemara is very hard, but you can just read it straight. But there, if you're going to memorize and say the whole entire shir over, it's very, you got to really have a good memory. You got to be able to really be paying attention. So, but that's an interesting chiddush by Rashi that you have to be able to say over the shir to really understand it. Amar Abaye, Agr de Kala Ducha. If you go into a shir where it's very crowded, so you get reward for the fact that it's crowded. Amar Rava, Agr de Shmaita de Savra. If you hear a good halacha, so you get the reward for hearing a good halacha. Amar Rav Papa, Agr de Beitamya Shtikusa. So the reward for going to either a house of a cemetery or going to a Beis Avel, to a Shiva, either way, the reward is being quiet. That's a good thing to be quiet. Amar Zutra Agr de Tanisa Sitkasa. The reward for fasting is giving tzedakah. It's not just fasting, but it's giving tzedakah. So, right, we know that when a Sefer Torah drops, Chacham Avadia says that when a Sefer Torah drops, the halacha is that when someone sees a Sefer Torah, Chas v'shalom, fall to the floor, they have to fast. Chacham Avadia would have said, no. I would have told everyone, go to shul and learn all day. That's a much more productive way. Like, okay, they're fasting, but they're going to work, right? And they're just going about their normal lives. They're just fasting. So I would have said, change up your whole day, go to learn, go to shul, and be in shul all day. Anyway, interesting point, because the reward for tinus is really the tzedakah. You're supposed to change you. The fast is supposed to change you to a certain aspect. Amar Sheish is Agrada Speda de Lavi. That's the reward for a hesped. Amar Rabashi, Agri de Halul Mili. The reward for a wedding is words, is saying nice things. Amar Rav Huda, Kol Mispal Lachar Beisiknes. Anyone who davens in the back of a shul, Nikra Rasha. It's called a Rasha. Shenamar Saviv Rasha Misalechon. Amar Bai Loy Amar Nel Deloy Mahader Ape Lebekinishta. This is not referring to someone that's physically in back, but someone that's physically in back and is turning away from the shul. Av Mahader Ape Lebekinishta Leslon. But let's say he's in back of the shul, but he's turning toward the shul, then that's fine. That's not considered as if he's a Rasha. Obviously, it's better to be in the shul, but it's not as bad as turning away. There was a man. They come at Sali. He did both things that we said we're not supposed to do. He was behind the shul and he faced away from the shul. What happened? Here comes Eliyahu Navi. Chalaf Eliyahu Chazi Ad Milei Ketaya, and Eliyahu Navi came and he appeared like an Arab merchant. Amalei Kadu Bar Kaimi Kami Marach Shlaf. Right, meaning you it's like you're davening to two. You're davening. You're doing Hashem's tefillas, but yet you're doing it. It's as if you're doing it to two gods because you're looking away from the shul. So wow, Safsar Avikatle, he killed him. He killed him on the spot. Interesting, like Eliyahu sort of took on the form of the Malach HaMavos in this case. I mean, not really, but he killed someone. So that doesn't. I don't think we see that so often where Eliyahu physically kills people. But that interesting point. Amarle. Rabbi Rab Nachman Bar Yitzchak, my karam zolus lifnei adam. Right? What does the pasuk mean when it says this? Amar lei elu dvarim sha'imnim b'roi mashalom. These are things that are in the heights of the world. U'bnei adam mizalzon b'han, and people don't treat them properly. They disgrace them. Rabbi Nachman Belazar dami travayu kivin shenitzrach adam lebriyos panav mishtanois kikarim. If people need to rely, when people need to rely on other people for money, for whatever it is, then their face changes, right? They get embarrassed. When someone gets embarrassed, their face changes colors. Shenemar kara zolus l'bnei adam. My karam. What is karam? What does the word karam mean? There's a bird in the yam, and its name is karam. And when the sun comes, it changes colors. So just like a person's face changes colors when they get embarrassed, so too this bird changes colors. So that's why the changing of face when one gets embarrassed is referred to karam. Okay. Person, it's as if the person is judged with water and fire. Shnemar, fire and water. Shnemar hakavas enosh l'roishay banu b'eish v'mayim. Viter, next two dots. Wow. Okay, so this is interesting, right? He's saying, Rav Huna specifically saying, a person should always be very careful to daven mincha. We'll get to why mincha is important in a second. Shar Eliyahu, I mean, well, we know it's important, but why specifically mincha? Shar Eliyahu loy nana ela b'tfilas mincha, because Eliyahu was answered in tfilas mincha. I mean, aside from this reason, right? Because Eliyahu he was answered, right? He davened shach, he davened marv, and he wasn't answered. Finally, by mincha he was answered. Shenemar ba'alis mincha ve'igash Eliyahu anavi vayomer aneni Hashem aneni shetorah deish ben Hashemayim. I was answered. Hashem. Eliyahu said, "Answer me, Hashem, answer me." And he was answered that fire fell from Shemaim, and I was answered that there would be no witchcraft. So interesting. What's so special about Mincha? It's in the middle of the day, right? We're busy about our day. Shachris, you wake up, you go to shul. Ma'ariv, right before you go to sleep, you go to shul. But Mincha is like we're in the middle of working. It's 2:00, and all of a sudden, wait a second, forgot to daven Mincha. You got to stop what you're doing. It's hard to regain focus after that as well. So it's a much more difficult thing to do to daven Mincha. That's why it seems like it's specifically pointing out Mincha. Okay, so now Rabbi Yochanan says, not so fast. Even Ma'ariv is important. Shneimar tachan tfilas iktaris lefanecha masas kapet mincha erev, and erev is referring to nighttime. Even Shachris is just as important. Shneimar Hashem baiker tishma koili baka ercha lecha ve'atzpa. Atzpa is referring to the morning, but nonetheless we see that it first pointed out Mincha, which means there must be something special about Mincha, the aforementioned point that we said. Okay, let's go to the end of the Amud. We're almost there. Amar Chal by Amar of Huna. Kol Hanen. By the way, there's a lot here. There's a lot here. But we have to get everything we could in the allotted amount of time. Amar Chal by Amar of Huna. Kol Hanen misudas chasan ve'enem sameach. Anyone who enjoys a suda from a wedding and he's not misameach with him. Oiver bechamim. He doesn't rejoice with him. Oiver bechamim shekailos. He is oiver in the 5 sounds. Not the 5 sounds, but the 5 times it says the word kol in the pasuk. When is that? Shenemar kol sasan v'kol simcha kol chasim v'kol kala kol ayrim haidu Hashem tzevakos. 5 kols it says by a wedding, and you weren't misameach with him, so you're over those 5 kols. Let's say the guy does do what he's supposed to do, and he rejoices with the chasen. What's his reward? Then he's zeicha to the Torah. I guess get secrets of the Torah that was given with 5 different sounds, 5 different words kol. What are the 5 words called by the Torah? Shenemar vehi bayam shlishi biyasa baiker. Vehi kailos abrakim. 1 vana kavod elahar v'kol shofar vehi v'kol shofar l'kem yaninu v'kol. 5 times says the word kol by Torah. Eini, is that so? I'm sorry. Meaning, is that so that there's only 5 kols? Eini, is that so that there's only 5 kols? Right? So there's a 6th kol. So what do you mean there's only 5 kols? So Gemara says no ice and kolos the kaida Matan Torah hava. We're referring to the kolos that were before Matan Torah. At Matan Torah there were only 5 kolos. After that there could have been more. Ravo Amar ki ilu hikriv taida. Ravo says something else. Ravo says anyone who rejoices with a chasen, it's as if he brought a carbon taida. Unbelievable. It's as if he built one of the charvas cities, the walls in Yerushalayim. Just a little more. Anyone who has Yira Shamayim, fears Hashem, devar of Nishman. His words will be heeded. Shenemar Saif Davar Hakol Nishmas Elokim Yarei. At the end of all of it, Hashem listens to the one that fears. My kizek kol adam. What does it mean? Kizek kol adam. Amar Belazar Mekadosh Baruch Hu. Amazing thing. Kol adam kul loy nivra el b'shvil zeh. The entire world was only created for this guy that has Yiras Hashem. That is Yiras Shamayim. Reb Avbar Kahana Amar Shakol Zeh Keneged Kol Olim Kula. Having Yiras Hashem is Keneged is equal to the entire world. Reb Shem and Azai Omer Ramli Reb Shem and Zayma Amar Kula Olim Kula Loy Nivra El Tzavazeh. The entire world was only created to accompany this person that has Yiras Hashem. Unbelievable thing. See how high of a level, how incredible of a thing it is to have Yiras Hashem. Okay, 2 more lines. Anyone who sees his friend coming and he knows, this guy, he always says hi to me. He always gives me shalom. So yaktim lo shalom. So you should beat him to the punch and give him shalom first. That's the nice thing to do. Shenemar bake shalom v'ad feyu. So let's say you do that. You beat him to the punch. You say hello to him, and he doesn't respond. Nikra Gazlan. He's called a Gazlan. He stole from you. Why is it saying ani here? Because in ani, the only thing they have is shalom, right? They don't have any food. They don't have many physical things. They don't have many materialistic things. But they can say hi to you, and you can say hi to them. So the fact that you're stealing that from that person is a big thing. So if someone says, hello to you, you should say hello to them. And not only that, but you should say hello to them first if you know that they're accustomed to saying hello to you. Beautiful, beautiful Gemara. We got a lot of great stuff coming up, of course, but we'll stop there by the end of Amud Beis, and we'll start with Zayin Amud Aleph, Be'ezus Hashem next time.